Hey, what's going on everybody? This is Ryan. Welcome back to another Animal Crossing New Horizons video, and in this video, I'm going to be giving you guys a few tips and tricks, as well as show my method for laying down what a lot of people refer to as the path. So really quick, for those that don't know what the path is a minimum of 9-piece custom designed set. It can be anywhere between 9 to 15 pieces. And what it is basically a custom pathway that people are using on their islands instead of the default paths that you can normally get through the Island Designer app, things like the dirt path, the stone path, the wooden path, things like that. I'm in the process of terraforming my island currently, and as you can see, I pretty much am using the path exclusively to show kind of where players are going to be walking as they're walking around the island. This particular pathway style has been pretty popular as of late, not only because it's pretty versatile, but a lot of people like it for its natural look, and the fact that you can even customize them to match different seasons or different themes. And while you could simply just lay down the path, it does take a little bit of time to make your path look really nice. And in this video, I'm hoping that I can share a few tips and tricks that I've learned along the way to help you accomplish kind of a similar look to mine, or even something a little bit better. So the first tip is not really a tip, it's more just like a personal preference, but it does add a lot of detail that you wouldn't normally get, and that is to mix it up. What I mean by that is the main version of the path is literally just like this dirt path right here. There's nothing going on. It's just a dirt texture that looks pretty natural, and that's pretty much it. And when the path debuted, that was really all that there was. Since then, however, there's been a lot of different variations made. As I've said before, there are people who have made them specifically for different seasons. There are some that have been made for themes, such as like fairy core themed. There are some that are just a completely different texture, like stone. So while this may not be super important, it does add a lot of detail to mix and match different paths that add some sort of different design to them. As you can see, my current path set that I'm using is actually a mixture of, I think, about 3 to 4 different paths. I'm using 3 pieces from a mushroom specific set, which is this top right, bottom middle, and middle left. I'm using 2 pieces of a pumpkin set that I found, which was themed specifically for Halloween, which is this middle right one and this bottom left one. And then this one in the corner is actually just autumn leaves. As I mentioned, this isn't too particularly important to do, but as you can see, it does add a lot of depth and variation and detail to your island that you wouldn't normally get by doing things as simply as just like placing down furniture. The next tip is an actual tip, and that is to try to avoid straight lines as much as possible. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that right now. Okay, so I've laid down 2 versions of the path here, both accomplishing the exact same thing, indicating that the player needs to get from point A to point B, and I think it's a pretty easy bet which one looks better. They both start and end at the exact same spot. They're both exactly 2 tiles wide, but the one on the right looks way more natural than the one on the left because of its kind of like serpentine kind of fashion, and the fact that it's kind of got this like natural unnatural look to it, which is what you want when you want to utilize something like the path. Another reason this works so well, and another reason it's so appealing, is because you're able to utilize, depending on how many different versions of the path you're using, you're able to get in all those different details and nuances of the corner pieces that you wouldn't normally get because they're usually only placed at the ends of wherever your path is. And this actually leads to the next 2 tips. Number 3, you never want to make your path too wide. You want to make it kind of thin, kind of like this right here. As you can see, Stitches is quite enjoying our path here on the right as well. I think Stitches agrees. And the next tip would be to avoid repetition, and it goes further than just the straight line pieces on your edges. The way that I avoid repetition when I'm making the path is I try to not use the same piece more than 2 times in a row. As an example, I'm going to use this pathway here, so I can already see that, you know, obviously there's a lot of repetition going on here. So for this right side, I'm just going to get rid of these 2 here. Like I said, I don't want to use the same piece more than twice. And then I'm just going to use 2 different corner pieces. We'll use this one here, and then we'll round it off again on the other side. And that's already looking better, and we can do the same thing down here as well. We can pretty much repeat the exact same process. So what we'll do instead is we will immediately round this off, and it's going to look similar to the right side path that we just did, but that's kind of the point. And as you can see, it already looks a lot better than it did even just 10 seconds ago. So avoid repetition as much as possible, avoid really, really wide pathways, and avoid straight lines. The next tip is actually something that I've been utilizing a lot recently, and I found that it's actually quite helpful for a ton of different things, and that is to break apart the path every now and again. To use this left side path as an example again, what I mean by that is at random points in your path, what I would recommend doing is finding two places that are very easily broken up and then just closing them off and attaching them more so at the tip more than, you know, having them be connected the entire time, just like this. Even though it's still going in a straight line, again, you're adding more depth and you're adding a little bit more of the kind of like cluttered naturalness that you would get from the path that you wouldn't normally get on this side. So one thing you'll very quickly notice with all the tips I've been giving thus far is essentially the crazier your path looks generally makes it look a lot better. I also said that this has actually a lot of different applications as well, and it does. You can use this to indicate things like forks in the roads. You can indicate when the dirt path of an entryway to a house is there. You know, I have kind of just like scattered pieces of the path all around my island, and as you can see, I think it actually looks really, really nice. Some of them may not immediately make sense. So for example, like this patch right here would normally be connected to this one or even this one, but the fact that it's kind of disjointed from each other just makes everything look a little bit more natural, but unnatural at the same time. Well, it's raining now. So this last one is really, really subjective. I would recommend that you definitely give it a try and see if it works for you, but if not, totally fine. But it's the fact that I use the Custom Designs app to lay the path down instead of the Island Designer Custom Designs pathway. You saw me do it earlier when I was kicking up different slots. I was kicking them up and then replacing them, but instead of using a paintbrush, I was using the phone. So the reason that I use the Custom Designs app instead of the Island Designer app is that once you really figure out the nuances of how everything gets laid down when you're using the Custom Designs app, it's actually significantly faster to place them down than to constantly go into the Island Designer app and then, you know, click on the design and then pull the paintbrush out and then put it on the ground. It's pretty tedious. To show what I mean, I'm going to just lay down a random design here. Let's say, for whatever reason, it just kind of goes up like this, like that. I know it goes to the upper right, and then we'll say like that, and then bottom. There we go. And then it's going to round out here just like that. And I want to round it out on the bottom, so we'll do that. And then let's say kind of does that. Oops, I chose the wrong one, but you get what I mean. I was essentially able to place down like all these different variations of the path really, really quickly. And then, like, let's say for whatever reason I wanted to continue this on, you know, I could do something like this. There we go. And you get the idea. Basically, I'm continuing on what I was originally doing, and I'm doing it in what feels like no time at all. And the reason for that is because I've gotten used to exactly how things are going to be placed whenever you do this. Now, let's say, for example, I wanted to copy the original, what I laid down here, using the Island Designer app. Let's see how long it takes me to accomplish essentially the exact same thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place the pieces down exactly as they were placed over here on this side. The reason for that being is that, you know, I can already tell there are 3 corner pieces right here, so all I have to do is pull out one corner piece and then put it down 3 different times. So it would skew the times a little bit. All right, here we go. So we started with this one here. Oh, it's a little bit up, but that's okay. And then it went here. We rounded the upper right-hand corner. So you can already see just by doing this, like going in and constantly changing out which piece that you're using is a pretty tedious process. You have to go through the motions of the pop-ups. You have to go through the motions of painting it on the ground. This already just feels like it's taking so much more time. I know this one was placed there, and then it looks like this is a top right corner piece. There we go. Okay, and I don't know how much time this took, but I can almost guarantee you that it took me significantly less time to do it here on the left side than it did on the right side. For those that are curious how this method works, the way that it works is your character, so let's use this as an example. Your character will always place a custom design where they're currently standing. Then they will place the custom design in front of them. So just like this. Then they place it to the upper right of where they're standing. Then to the upper left. And then to the middle right. Middle left. Bottom right. Bottom left. And bottom middle. Like I said, if you want to use this method, it takes a little bit getting used to in regards to figuring out where things are going to be placed in relation to where you're standing. Once you get into that though, it's intuitive in regards to where things are placed. At that point, you just have to basically work with the path enough to find out exactly how you want the pathing to go, how thin you want the path to be, things of that nature. Otherwise, that'll pretty much do it. As you can see on my island, you know, I'm utilizing every tip and every trick that I just showed in this video to make the island that I'm currently terraforming look the way that it does. I get a lot of questions on YouTube and I get a lot of questions on stream in regards to, you know, how I make the path look so natural, how I make it look as good as it does. And I figured, you know, I might as well just make a video showing you all. That way you kind of have a good resource to go back and reference whenever you want to accomplish the same thing on your own island. The path set that I'm using, I currently have themed for the fall/Halloween kind of season. So I'll put the design codes below of the ones that I'm using, and then you can either copy this exactly or you can mix and match your own. You can add more pumpkins, you can make less pumpkins, you can add more leaves, you can do whatever you want. That's pretty much it for this video. I've given every tip and every trick that I can think of regarding the path. I've shown you guys my method and how I lay it down and its efficiency. So yeah, if you've got any more questions or anything like that, be sure to leave a comment down below. You can also feel free to stop by the live stream, twitch.tv/RyanFTW. There will be a link in the description down below as well. I stream every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday as of the timing of this video. And you can watch me terraform this island live. I also lay down a lot of the path while I'm doing so, so if you have any questions or you kind of want to see how it's done in more of a realistic fashion, then by all means, stop by the live stream sometime. But that'll do it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to continue kicking up all this path here so I can get it out of the way. If you enjoyed the video, as always, be sure to give it a like. And if you are new to the channel and would like to see more Animal Crossing New Horizons videos from me in the future, be sure to subscribe, turn notifications on. Really appreciate it. Otherwise, I'm going to finish this up. And I'll see you later. Have a great day.